All right, welcome on in. It is Socratic Sunday yet again. As to the topics we will be starting with today, I have no idea. I was at work today, haven't really had a chance to read over any recent news. If anybody has ideas, do feel free as always to drop them in the chat or jump into Discord with me. Otherwise, I will be glancing at some headlines, discussing. All right. Thousands of redheads celebrate their strands at a festival in the Netherlands. Alright. I mean, getting together in a crowd and going, "We are all Neanderthals," is a choice, I suppose. For those who don't know, Neanderthals were the group or subgroup of human, like, not human ancestors, because they coexisted with Homo sapien sapien on Earth and interbred with Homo sapien sapien, but they were the origin of the red hair gene. And to be fair, I poke fun, but in point of fact, I also almost certainly have that gene. My hair is not red, but I am enormously resistant to basically all medications and anesthetics, which is traditionally a mutation of the MC1R gene, otherwise known as the redhead gene. So, probably, I would not be welcome at the festival, but I do have the genetic link, you know? Massachusetts cranberry bogs are being given a second life as vibrant wetlands. We turned the cranberry bogs into regular bogs. Cool. Uh, Europe plans multinational troop deployment to Ukraine with U.S. support. Good. Good. Two firefighters held at a Washington ICE detention center amid wildfire, U.S. representative says. Okay. When we said they'd rather let the country burn than have immigrants here, I didn't think that that was literal. I figured, societal burn, not a fucking wildfire, but apparently it was literal. Pakistan's Punjab faces biggest floods in its history, affecting 2 million people. Jesus. A flood was caused by unusually heavy monsoon rains, not shocking. Exacerbated by global warming, also not shocking. Along with water flowing into Pakistan's low-lying areas, following controlled releases by India. Oh boy. That's not necessarily malicious, but the history does give me some pause. Let's see, what else do we have? Xi and Modi pledged to rebuild China-India ties amid U.S. pressure. I mean, between them, they've got a third of the human beings on the planet, give or take. So, frankly, any alliance between them should be incredibly strong. Scientists uncover wildfire paradox that's putting 440 million people in danger. Meaning. Okay. University of California at Irvine. Striking paradox. Even as total burned land has dropped by more than a quarter since 2002, human exposure to wildfire has skyrocketed. That's just because there are more people. Africa accounts for a staggering 85% of these exposures. Holy shit. While California stands out as an extreme hotspot despite its relatively small share of burned land. Again, more people. Climate change is fueling more intense fire weather. Yes. Population growth. Yes. Is pushing communities into fire-prone landscapes. And the overlap between people and flames is growing more dangerous. Yeah. Okay, that's actually not surprising. I don't see that as a paradox, though. That seems to intrinsically lack certain properties of a paradox. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani rushed to hospital after being injured in car crash. Don't give me hope. Um, Fractured thoracic vertebrae. Jesus, fuck. And multiple cuts and bruises after his rental car was hit from behind. At the time of the crash, Giuliani was assisting a woman involved in a domestic violence incident, according to Ragusa. Ragusa stated the accident was not a targeted attack and the other driver is considered at fault. Fuck, man. Okay, I don't like Giuliani, but that shit sucks. Schwarzenegger steps back into political arena in redistricting crusade. Okay. 4,000-year-old wicks reveal ancient recycling practices. Archaeology. 4,000-year-old oil lamp wicks during a salvage excavation near Yehud in central Israel. Discovery occurred amid city expansion, challenged expectations since organic wicks rarely survive the moist Mediterranean climate. The wicks preserved as calcified remains inside clay lamps from the intermediate Bronze Age were likely linen reused at the end of its textile life. Excavation directors stated about 20% of over 1,200 graves had lamps used for illumination and ceremonies, while the IAA published detailed findings in Journal Atiquot, Atiquot. I'm not familiar with that. The rare find suggests early recycling practices and sheds light on ancient burial rituals and the technological development of oil lamps in the region. That's cool. I dig that. Original Lucy fossil. Lucy being the, like, 8,000-year-old. Oh, no, sorry, Lucy. Uh, I'm thinking of a different find in Africa. But no, Lucy's the 3.2 million-year-old specimen visiting Prague briefly before returning to Addis Ababa, which is presumably somewhere in Africa. Okay. Sorry, that's a Venezuelan exiles want Trump to invade and boot Maduro. Okay, Maduro sucks, but Trump sucks worse. No. Trump's suck has more ability to affect people, but they both really suck. Study finds Denisovian MUC19 variant concentrated in indigenous American ancestry. Interesting. Mysterious 300,000-year-old Greek cave skull was neither human or Neanderthal. Interesting. Belonged to an ancient human group that lived alongside both Neanderthals and humans. Hominin skull, discovered in 1960, finally gets an accurate age, give or take 9,000 years. Moose scapula found at Fort Selkirk, Yukon, sheds light on the First Nations hunting practices. That actually sounds cool as fuck. Okay, how about AP News? Anything interesting? Multi-vehicle crash injures 17 and shuts down major interstate in East Texas. Holy shit. 17 people injured. I'm not seeing any killed. Crash involved 2 tractor trailers and 6 passenger vehicles near the city of Lindale. Fucking it. 2 tractor trailers and 6 passenger vehicles. Do we have something high factuality? Here we are. 17 people reported injured. I'm not seeing any updates that say anybody killed, so that's great. Yikes. I was 10 minutes late to work this morning because instead of being 10 minutes early from when I left home, I I encountered an accident that shut down both lanes of the road that I used to take to work, and it was a 20-minute detour to get back where I was going. Because I had to go back up the road I had come down and then, like, make 3 right turns. Let's see. Anything else? AP News. 6.0 magnitude earthquake shakes southeastern Afghanistan near the Pakistan border. Former CNN correspondent, journalism academic Charles Bierbauer dies. I have heard of Charles Bierbauer, but I don't know his work well. Community gathers for first mass after Minneapolis shooting as questions remain. New chapter for Sanders as Colorado's. Oh, fucking, again, sports. I try to skip past the sports, but occasionally. Mexico's first elected Supreme Court faces critical test of independence. Okay, tell me more. New Supreme Court will face key issues like pretrial detention laws, abortion rights, and transgender rights. Previous courts have expanded rights in areas like abortion and transgender identity on birth certificates. Okay, let's see how this court does. And yeah, more sports. Damn it, AP News, why can't you give me fewer sports? Alright, EU. Working on post-war military deployments to Ukraine. Post-war? That seems presumptive. Putin to meet Slovakian Prime Minister Fico in China. Fico, probably Fico for Slovakian. Could be Fico. Nah, that'd be more Serbian. Eh, I'm gonna. Okay. Uh, da, 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 da. How the fuck? Sorry. I clicked on European Union, right? And just a quick glance, I get back to the articles about Xi and Modi pledged to rebuild the China-India ties amid U.S. pressure. It's like, okay, so we're talking about China, India, and the U.S. in that headline. I mean the European Union. All right, fucking fine. Like, I get that it affects the European Union, but it doesn't feel like news from the European Union. Fixed minimum prices for solar in Switzerland under threat in EU deal. Interesting. New EU defense plan to benefit Poland most, von der Leyen says. I mean, that's not shocking. Poland is basically the wall for the rest of Europe against Russia until Ukraine falls. Assuming Ukraine manages to hold out, which I'm hoping, but it'll be interesting to see. Hungary continues to veto Ukraine's accession to EU. Motherfucker, Orban is such a fucking asshole. For those who don't know, the only basically openly fascist government in the EU is Hungary. Viktor Orban is a fucking monster, among other things, but also an incredible asshole who is extremely pro-Russia and so is blocking Ukraine entering the European Union because they can. Because all states in the European Union have veto powers against bringing in other states to the European Union. And it's not like it's exclusive, like that's the only thing that could be done to help Ukraine, but it would be a huge step. At least 7 killed, 71 wounded as Sudan's RSF paramilitary shell besieged city. Not great. Dortmund's. Again, why sports? Can I block sports? No tax hikes, vows Germany's Merz. Okay. German leader says peace cannot come at Ukraine's expense. Also Merz. Agreed. Mother and her 2 children found dead in their apartment near Lyon, in France, I assume. That is France, right? Lyon, France. Yeah. Okay. Christ. It gives you a location usually, but I couldn't find it there for a moment. I knew Lyon was a town in France, but you know how it goes. There's a Paris, Texas, so I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the right thing. Protesters clash at anti-immigration march in South Australia. South Australia, I was born, heave away, hove away. South Australia off Cape Horn. Okay. Modi pledges to strengthen ties. China, we read about that. Government considers a voluntary resettlement of all of Gaza. Fucking Christ. Thunberg is again at sea. I don't know how the two are connected, but okay. French Prime Minister says fate of France at stake in confidence vote. Uh, Benin ruling coalition picks Wadagni to run in 2026. I know very little about Benin except for the Benin bronzes, which were a fucking travesty of colonialism. The Benin bronzes were a series of bronze reliefs that basically told the history of the people of Benin, until the Brits came in and decided they were artifacts and therefore worth looting. And so the Benin bronzes were taken apart and out of order, which was a major problem because the Benin bronzes were an art form that told a narrative in order. Not only that, as far as I know, I don't think they were returned. I want to double check my sources on this, but I think they're still in the British History Museum. But from the 1500s to the 1800s, uh, it was a set of narrative art, uh, which unfortunately has been entirely, well, I don't want to say entirely destroyed because it hasn't. It has, however, uh, been to been taken apart in such a way that the order is not clear, or was by the Brits in the late 1800s. Uh, and then, Nigeria received 110 bronzes from the Netherlands after a series of meetings between both governments. That's great. Uh, was there anything else? Is that all of them? They all went back, or? Okay. Either way, um, basically it was effectively cultural genocide because they came in, took the history apart so that it was not clear anymore, and then left with it. while of course enforcing British. Oh, motherfucker! Here we are, the British Museum. Uh huh. Uh huh. You can go view some of the Benin bronzes at the British Museum. Uh huh. Uh huh. Fucking Christ. Okay, to their credit, they do have a How Did It Come to the British Museum? And it talks about British colonialism. Alright, I appreciate that they acknowledge it, but also, uh, they're still in the British Museum. Uh, Supposedly, in October 2021, the British Museum received a written request for the return of Nigerian antiquities from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture in Nigeria. In addition, representatives of the Benin Royal Palace have made various public statements asking for the Benin collections to be returned, most recently at the Benin Dialogue Group meeting hosted by the museum in October 2021. These requests are framed within the context of long-standing dialogues with the museum, including during the visit of the then director of the British Museum to the Benin Royal Court in August of 2018. Uh, Status of the talks: we still have the bronzes. Uh, Displayed in the national museums in Benin City, Lagos, Ibadan, Enugu, Kaduna, and Jos. Jos? I'm going to go with Jos, Jos. So several thousand uh, originally and spread all over the world now. So, okay. Two Virginia school districts sue education department and fight over gender policies. Please tell me that they're Arlington and Fairfax County. Okay, so they want to be nice to trans kids. I went to school in Fairfax County. That's I didn't always agree with school policies, but by and large they were chill. Yes, okay, that's what I thought. Uh, the Arlington and Fairfax County Public Schools are citing violations of Title IX for not allowing students to access bathrooms consistent with their gender identity. Okay, that's what I figured. Good. I was really hoping that when I read Virginia fighting Department of Education, like historically that's not been a good thing, but in this case it is. Uh, do, 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 do. Disabled child blocked from summer camp over mother's gender critical views. Oh, from the UK. I was like, gender critical is not a term that is broadly used in the US. That's a J.K. Rowling thing. Also a Nazi thing in Britain, but Trump HHS tells states to remove gender ideology from sex ed or lose PrEP funding. Don't teach the kids about the gays or we'll take away the AIDS medication. Love that shit. Cracker Barrel removes Pride and DEI pages from official website. Frankly, I'm shocked that they were there to begin with. Let's see. And then let's finish up with Offbeat, because those are sometimes fun. Fucking A. Hacker exposes Tesla over key evidence in fatal crash while car was in autopilot. Okay, anybody who thinks that Tesla autopilot just drives the car for you is not a good call. Italian swimmers returning home from Worlds. What now? Oh, from the World Championship. Got it. Detained briefly at Singapore airport for shoplifting. That seems like just a bad fucking idea. Don't do that. Northern areas of Nunavut are getting their first August snow in almost a quarter century. This is why we now call it climate change instead of just global warming. Because sometimes shit gets cold when it's not supposed to, too. Forgetful man wins two $500,000 prizes in one Powerball drawing. God damn. Alright, well done. Man sacked after, quote, impersonating Michael Jackson, quote, was unfairly dismissed. Tribunal finds. What? Taco Bell rethinks AI drive-thru after man orders 18,000 waters. Random man who chose to do this? Respect. Last year's rollout, AI-powered drive-thru aimed to speed orders and ease human employees' workload. Translation, remove human employees so we don't have to pay them. But faced accuracy issues and trolling, obviously, including an attempt to order 18,000 cups of water by online trolls. Hilariously. One viral Instagram clip with over 21.5 million views, and customers and social media users posted memes and complaints about glitches and creepy AI interactions, while CNET's David Katzmeyer observed frequent order errors corrected by human staff recently. Yeah. I'm shocked. The AI is shit. Well, yeah. And easy to exploit. Also, yeah. Robot rabbits, the latest tool in Florida battle to control invasive Burmese pythons in the Everglades. Robot rabbits. Okay. Okay. I've not read any further. Just the headline, right? So, how would you use robot rabbits to fight back against Burmese pythons in the Everglades? Now, I've seen a lot of footage out of the invasion of Ukraine. So I'm picturing, right? Basically, you dress up a robot rabbit as like you have the structure and then you put the fur on it so it looks like a rabbit. But inside you pack it with plastic explosives, so once it detects that it's been eaten, it just fucking explodes. Now, obviously, that would be a terrible idea, so I really hope it's not what they're doing. Uh, just because, like, if you know anything about the mines left over in Rhodesia, it's really bad. You don't want to put UXO where anybody might be. UXO is unexploded ordnance, for those who don't know. 120 robotic rabbits into the Everglades to test a new method for managing invasive Burmese pythons. Project builds on previous attempts using live rabbits as lures, which became too expensive and time-consuming, prompting development of robot rabbits that mimic heat, smell, and movement. Impressive. Pythons have established populations in the Everglades, decimating 95% of small mammals and thousands of birds, with females laying 50 to 100 eggs per gestation period of 60 to 90 days. Holy fuck. That's too many snakes. Each robot costs about $4,000 and is solar powered, nice, remotely controlled, solid, and monitored by cameras that alert researchers when pythons approach the bends, reflecting over a decade of research, starting with a 2012 rabbit study. Officials call the project promising, but in its infancy, emphasizing that every python removed benefits Florida's native wildlife, and expressing confidence the method will improve with more time and detail refinement. I mean, yeah, it's generally how iterative processes work. Okay. They're not putting explosives into the Everglades, which is both a very good thing and slightly disappointing. So, jaw-droppingly weird dinosaur from Morocco was studded with spikes. That looks remarkably like an ankylosaurus. It's not, like I can see the differences, but it's not that weird. Holy shit. Oregon roadside zoo owner indicted on 371 counts after May raid. Animal cruelty. Don't want to read too deep into that. Not at all shocking, but yikes. Spider uses trapped fireflies as glowing bait to attract prey. Horrifying, but fortunately in Taiwan and therefore far away from me. The bizarre armored dinosaur is referred to as Spicomelus afer, which lived 165 million years ago and had meter-long spikes sticking out from its neck, rather, singular. I assume there were not many two-headed versions. The elaborateness and spikiness of the animal found in Morocco surprised experts, forcing them to rethink how these armored dinosaurs evolved. Not really. I don't. Punk rocker dinosaur. Okay. To their credit, it does kind of look a little punk rock. Shit, space. Anything fun going on in space? Webb telescope just found 300 galaxies that defy explanation. Okay, sure. Why not? 300 galaxies that are impossible. Sure. Finds a planet nursery flooded with carbon dioxide? Okay, that's actually fascinating. Huh. But nearly devoid of water. Weird. Huh. Wild. Okay. So that is, by and large, the news I was going to cover, or the amount of news I was going to cover. That said, you know what I haven't looked at is whatever's on the news subreddit today. Why not? Might learn something. Rudy Giuliani hospitalized. Federal judge blocks U.S. from deporting unaccompanied children to Guatemala. I mean, fucking good, but only if they actually have the power to enforce this. DHS Secretary Nome confirms more ICE resources are headed to Chicago for immigration crackdown. God, I really wish she would treat herself like she treats dogs. ICE agents target well-known Studio City car wash, taking several workers into custody. Fucking Christ. Who would never have known? New warnings about rabies outbreaks as cases rise in the U.S. Almost like you tried to shut down the fucking CDC, who keeps track of this shit. Sorry. Yeah. Uh, Amish mother charged with murder after throwing 4-year-old son into lake to prove worthiness to God. That's remarkably similar to how a bunch of quote-unquote witches were killed up in Massachusetts back in like the late 1600s. The woman's husband, Marcus J. Miller, 45, had apparently drowned while attempting to swim to an offshore sandbank hours earlier in another test of faith. Sheriff Orvis Campbell told reporters at a news conference Monday, presumably looking baffled. Their other children, a 15-year-old girl and a twin, 18-year-old boys, were also directed to perform water-based trials of their belief but survived. Fucking holy shit. Campbell said Ruth Miller told the investigator she believed she could walk on water, but when she tried doing so off the end of the dock, she simply fell into the water. Uh, yes. Jesus, poor fucking kids. Houston area man charged with murder after friends took turns shooting each other. I mean, do you need to charge him with murder? You could just give him 5 more days and he'll get a Darwin Award of his own. What the fuck? Oh my god. Okay, from the article. Hard to believe two so-called friends, alright, I'm on board, would take turns shooting at each other. Christ, okay. Wearing a Kevlar helmet. Alright. Inside a house in a residential neighborhood. Fuck. While using a rifle. Every single word of that sentence got worse. I. Christ. Uh. Upcoming, quote, upgrade to Holocaust Museum exhibit on U.S. response to Nazi Germany sparks some staff concerns. Where's the upgrade coming from? Because this could be interesting. Uh-huh. Okay, so this is coming from Trump, so it's gonna whitewash it. That's what I figured. Disappointing, but not shocking. Shit. After a heart attack, women shown to have worse prognosis when treated with beta blockers. That's interesting. Men experience no benefit or risk when treated with beta blockers. That's even more so. Huh. Drones blasting ACDC are helping biologists protect cattle from wolves. I. That's fucking amazing. Also, the top comment, credit to Reddit user. Mojo Rilla. Uh, to those around my flock, we will shoot you. Nice. Okay. Also, from a Reddit user, Computer D. Really frustrating. So much work has been done over decades to make sure heavy metal isn't in our milk. Okay, I. That's very cool, honestly. We have drones blasting heavy metal, like 80s metal, so not like heavy metal, but like heavy metal, uh, to protect cattle from wolves. The future is fucking horrifying and awful, but occasionally it's kind of cool. Uh, oh, I saw Gordon Ramsay revealed skin cancer diagnosis, but like it's basal cell carcinoma, which doesn't spread, it doesn't metastasize, which is the thing that makes cancer kill you. So, like, yes, you should go get it removed, but it won't kill you. So, like, if he was gonna get a cancer, that's the one to get. Way to go. Uh, oh, I saw this yesterday. Prime Minister of Yemen's Houthi government killed an Israeli strike. Uh, da, 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 da. Okay, that's. I think that covers the news I wanted to cover. Don't know of anything else off the top of my head. I am, as always, in the Discord call if anyone wishes to hop in and join me, discuss basically anything. I'm more than happy to do so. I'm going to take a moment and drink some of my coffee because it should finally be cool enough. Because I've been yapping for 40 minutes. Still pretty warm. I love this, like, mug that I use. It's like a travel mug, but it's metal and it keeps my coffee very hot without even having a lid on it. No, it's not Yeti. It's a Costco Contigo, which is a Spanish word that I don't know what it means. I think it's something to do with travel, but I took German and Russian, so. Hold on. Let me educate myself and possibly someone else who doesn't speak Spanish. Fucking I. With you. Okay. So it's not specifically to do with travel. Contigo with you. Cool. I learned a thing today. Oh, fuck. I am more than a little tired because I worked today and I'm working tomorrow and I'm streaming tonight and I'm streaming tomorrow night. And usually one of the reasons I put my streams on Monday is that I don't work Mondays, though that will be shifting coming up towards the end of September, so I'll have to shift the schedule around a little bit. Because I'll only be off work theoretically 2 days a week and practically sometimes only one. Uh, and so scheduling the exact times that I'll be online will be slightly more difficult. Not the biggest deal in the world, just means that A, tonight my stream may be a little shorter than usual, and B, I may go ahead and start figuring out what my schedule's going to look like come late September, and I'll probably adjust it slightly before I absolutely need to, just so that I'm not figuring it out last minute. If nothing else, I am very much looking forward to getting back to the farm. I love working with them. I love the. It's really rare to love your employer. I love my employer at the farm. It's a family-owned farm. Been there for quite a while, and they treat employees more like human beings than anyone else I've ever worked for. Which to anybody listening internationally, I get like that your country might have laws associated with like not dicking your employees over constantly. Uh, Mine mostly doesn't. So finding an employer who treats people really well is fantastic. I am debating if nobody hops on what to do for the remainder of the stream, because I can just kind of keep stream of consciousness yapping, but at some level, I wouldn't object to going ahead and changing up what I'm doing from just chatting to something else. I just don't know what the something else would be. I don't think I want to hop back into conscript. I'd prefer to make that a full video, though. Oh, yeah, alternately, I could kind of call Socratic Sunday early and hop back into conscript, and just pause the recording so that I have two separate ones and I can quickly upload, uh, like differentiate between them. Yeah, I'll consider it. Was there anything else I wanted to discuss? I'm sure that there was. Um, oh, I discussed quite a while back that I was reading through the Expanse series. I have finished all 9 books in that series. Uh, the only thing that I still am reading is there is a like short fiction thing in there's a like series of short fictions that were written for the Expanse, and they're all contained within a single book at this point. So I am reading that book, but otherwise I have finished with the Expanse. I might not finish it tomorrow, but I will probably read a whole lot of it tomorrow because ordinarily my place of work is not open on Mondays, as I was saying. And we're really, really bad about advertising when it is open on Mondays, like for federal holidays like tomorrow. So, because nobody knows that we're open, it's going to be a relatively slow day. I don't tend to call these things ahead of time because that's a very good way to, trap yourself with certain expectations. But I have worked at this place for 11 years and I know consistently that Monday holidays are absolutely nothing to worry about. So I'm going to probably get paid to read for a while tomorrow. No objection. Um, Man, I had a thought and it went away. I have firmly and thoroughly lost whatever that thought was. I had a very dumb ADHD moment today at work. We have a key that's um like an Allen key to keep open a door with a push bar. And this morning while we were, opening up, I went ahead and took that key to open the door uh that uses the push bar, and I put it in my back pocket for a moment so that I could empty out the dehumidifier because it's fucking Virginia in August, and so we constantly have a dehumidifier running. Uh, and I went ahead and filled that, or emptied it rather. Got the door open, all that, and 8 hours later, give or take, I was walking out the door to grab our flag, bring it back inside, and I was like, "What's in my back pocket?" That key from this morning. All day, I didn't notice that I hadn't put that back. So I'm really glad I noticed before I left. I really, like, most days I handle my ADHD reasonably well. I've been around for 30 years. I have a general handle on how my brain works. some days you just don't win that fight. Oh well. On a list of shit that's wrong in my life, could have gone worse. Alright. Anybody have thoughts, feelings, general vibes that they wish to impart? Because I don't keep my viewer count up. I'm told that that's the quickest way to go insane as a small streamer. So I choose not to do that. But it does mean occasionally that I'm yapping, potentially to lurkers. And I appreciate lurkers, I do. But sometimes I do not know if I'm speaking to people or if I am simply yapping into the void. I'm pretty good at both. I can handle myself either way, but I do occasionally wonder about the value of asking people for contributions, because if the people aren't actually there, well, one, it does tend to make one sound slightly nuts, little off. But otherwise, I am here to have a good time with anyone who wishes to show up. I would love for that to be a bunch of people. I do know that, like, my whole Socratic Sunday concept is the kind of thing that a larger streamer could pull off much more easily, because there are just chatting streamers who do effectively this all the time. But the difference is they have a fairly large audience, and one of the things that you need to be a very successful just chatting streamer is an engaged audience. And some days I'll have Yvonne, Nusrat, Jay come through and hang out for a while, and we can yap for hours on end. And some days it's slow, and they have their own lives. And so we wind up with just me yapping. I'm fine to continue yapping, but I may, if I hit the like hour mark and still no one's in, I may go ahead and shift to I may shift back to conscript, honestly. I was having a good time with that. I am an old school Resident Evil fan. That would actually be another thing I could play at some point, is the RE1 remake. Because I still haven't done the Invisible Enemies run, I still haven't done the Knife Only run, and I still haven't done the... I don't think I've done the No Saves run. And I absolutely have a save where I've got the grenade launcher, so I can just do that. That one's not hard. Hold on, I can tell you what I have or don't have in that. Because I've definitely got the speedrun achievements down, because I've unlocked the grenade launcher, which requires, hey, how's it going, Nusrat? Be there in a few minutes, sounds good. I definitely have the stream's not working. Okay. Okay. Uh, let's see. If I go to my achievements. Hang on, I can just... Resident Evil 1. Or Resident Evil Remake, I suppose. Resident Evil. Evil. Search. Whereabouts is the RE remake? Because, let's see, RE0. This is one of those things that I have the game. I can just download the fucker and tell you. Ah, there we are. Resident Evil $20. Why? Why is that $20? I should just be able to download the fucker. I own this, I swear. Probably? Wait. I didn't do this on Game Pass, did I? This is odd. I don't think I have the Deluxe Origins bundle. No, that's Resident Evil Remaster and RE0. Weird. I will have to double check that. Either way, I can look at the achievements. Interesting. Why though? Okay. I could swear that I owned that. I definitely played it pretty thoroughly. I owned, I thought, all of the mainline Resident Evil games, including 6. So, like, how could I own 6 but not 1? Now I'm simply frustrated. Okay. I'm gonna have to scroll way the fuck down to find Resident Evil Remake. Where though? Haven't played it in a while, clearly. Oh god, does anyone else remember Exoprimal? Me neither. Ugh. Resident Evil 1. There we go. Okay. Let's see. I've got visit all places on all maps, finish the game on hard, obtain all weapons, don't stop running, finish the game in 3 hours, finish the game in 5 hours. That was the same achievement for me, obviously. Finish the game without saving anyone using Jill. So what am I missing? Finish the game in real survival mode. Haven't done that. Finish the game in invisible enemy mode. Finish the game without saving anyone using Chris. Okay. I can do that along with the knife-only run, which is CQC FTW. And then Ink is for Squids, finish the game without saving, which, again, shouldn't be hard with Jill and a grenade launcher. Cool. Okay. That answers my question, but not the question about why I don't have that. Could have sworn, but okay. Silk Song's coming in 3 days. People should be excited. Or rather, people are excited. I still have not played Hollow Knight. I know that that's heresy among several people, including a friend of mine. But, definitely... I mean, it's on my to-do list. I just don't do much with 2D platformers. But I also don't do much with top-down twin-stick shooters, which technically Conscript is, so... I guess I should put Resident Evil in my rotation. Because I could do RE1. I do have a survival horror game, I think, that is... it's called Nobody Wants to Die. It's like an indie game that reads very cool to me, and it's currently $10 instead of the usual 25. So I might pick that up and play it at some point. It's got a 4.6, which I'm a fan. And it's Somebody put as a 5-star review, Bioshock meets Altered Carbon meets LA Noire, and I'm assuming they're talking about Altered Carbon Season 1, which was amazing. Uh, or the first book, same deal. Though book 2 is supposedly where it gets really bad. I've not read book 2. Also Kona 2, which is supposed to be pretty good, is also on sale. Let's see. Is there anything else on sale that I might pick up? Nothing that I'm seeing. Speaking of 2D platformers, though, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is on sale for like $14, which is supposedly a deal. Like, supposedly it's really good. Disciples Liberation is supposed to be pretty good. Haven't played it, but have heard very good things. Deliver Us Mars is supposed to be pretty decent, and is currently like $9. I'm just looking at my wish list. I think currently, if I'm picking anything up this week, it's going to be Nobody Wants to Die, which is the cyberpunk detective story. How long would that take, hypothetically, if I wanted to do that? Would that be like a 1 or 2 stream game? For those who are not familiar, howlongtobeat.com is a great resource. Five and a half hours, main plus extra 6.5 hours, completionist 8 hours. So, probably 2 streams. I'm impressed by the scores that it got. So, as anyone who watches my channel knows, I have no objection to checking out indie shit. So, it's not to say that there aren't highly artistic AAA games, because The Last of Us Part 2 is incredible. But definitely I see a lot of creativity in the indie sphere that does not get touched upon in, like, Ubisoft releases. And to be honest, I'm a pretty, like, simple guy when it comes to games. I don't have like a hard preferences. I definitely have like some things that I tend towards, which is to say RPGs, first person games, um survival horror, shooters, like broadly, but there's a lot in between and to the side of that that I will absolutely take the time to check out, especially if it's on Game Pass or very cheap on sale. Speaking of which, AAA supposedly like not great games. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2 is a game that I'm considering playing because it's currently on Game Pass, and I haven't played it. Might also play Black Ops 7 when it comes out because again, Game Pass. Only campaign probably. I'm not. May actually play Battlefield 6 if it's as good as it's looking right now. Because I loved the like Battlefield 2 through 4 era as far as online went. And then I know that not everyone dug Battlefield 1. I really dug Battlefield 1. Um, I did appreciate that they eventually added a mode where it was like standard issue weapons. So everyone had like bolt action rifles instead of mixing in like submachine guns that technically existed and were fielded, but were not in any way standard. Didn't love Battlefield 5. Like, it was alright, but I will be very interested to see where they go with Battlefield 6. I hope it's good, but I hope every game's good. So, like, a lot of people are like, I want X to fail. And I'm like, why? Why wouldn't you want good art to come into the world just because it's from a company that has produced not good art in the past? If it's like a Nazi's putting on a game, like, yeah, okay, I want that to fail, but otherwise. If it's a bad specific individual, like, sure. I guess that was kind of me when, what was it, Hogwarts Legacy came out. I'm like, I hope no one buys this because it gives J.K. Rowling ammunition to claim more people are fine with her ideologies. Uh, but also I know it's Harry Potter and therefore will sell like hotcakes. So I guess I was kind of that guy. I try not to be a hypocrite. I am not always successful. I know my dad's looking forward to The Outer Worlds 2, which, I mean, again, it's on Game Pass. I'll fucking try it. Doesn't cost me anything extra. But for an Obsidian RPG, I found Outer Worlds 1 to be decent, not amazing. As someone who is like an enormous fan of Fallout New Vegas, despite its flaws. Uh, I personally found Outer Worlds 1 to be pretty good. I went anti-corpo, which I pretty much knew I was going to do. Hey, how's it going, Nisrat? Uh, which, like, in Fallout New Vegas, I've done every run through, so, like, I have every achievement. I've sided with every faction. I played The Outer Worlds 1 once and was like, alright, I'm done. So, as far as Obsidian RPGs go, I'm definitely, I mean, I would love to see a return to form. Again, I don't hope that games are bad. Like, I would love The Outer Worlds 2 to be a major improvement, but the first one didn't thrill me. It like solid 8 out of 10 game. But it committed like one of the worst sins that art can commit, which was it didn't really make me feel anything. I don't have strong feelings about the game, love or hate. So that in and of itself could speak to potentially negative outcome. Oh, what is this Indiana Jones DLC that they keep hawking at me? They're like, you can upgrade to the premium edition or whatever. I'm like, A, probably not going to do that. B, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Order of Giants. Choose edition not sold separately. I see. Will be available for purchase separately from September 4th. Okay, I see. So it will be available soon. Hidden Depths of Rome. Interesting. See, I was hoping they would go with like a new area. Because Rome was one of the places you visited during the main game. Which I mean, it was really good. The Vatican. Oh, it's beyond the walls of Vatican City. Okay, fair enough. It's not. They're not reusing space. They're expanding around. Okay, I'm cool with that. I had a very good time with Indiana Jones, and like in a way that like from the first trailer that they put out for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I was like, somebody on the writing team is a real fan of the movies. Because like sometimes it's a soulless cash grab and you can tell, but somebody knew what made Indiana Jones good, and they put a lot of that into the game. If anybody is like, hey, maybe I'll play it, maybe I won't. If you're a fan of the movies, play the game. It's very good. Really thankful to this timeline for having the Zoolander movies. You know, I haven't seen the second one, but yeah, the first one is fucking amazing. They died in a freak gasoline fight accident. Orange mocha frappuccino, etc. But why male models? Fuck. Just watched them this week. Nice. I haven't watched Zoolander in years, but it's so good. What is this, a school for ants? It'll have to be at least 3 times as big. It's not easy to write a dumb character smartly, and they did a really good job in those movies of writing dumb characters in a smart way. I keep seeing ads for Borderlands 4, and after Borderlands 3, I gotta say, I'm not planning on picking that one up day one. The worst thing is Borderlands 3 was, gameplay-wise, the best in the series. It's like a new type of comedy. Okay, if you enjoyed those movies, go watch... I can't, again, speak to the sequel, but the first movie, if you have not seen Anchorman, absolutely watch Anchorman. Some of the casts from Zoolander and Anchorman cross over, and it's really fucking funny. Yeah, I definitely, as far as Borderlands 4 goes, I'm like, again, I hope it's good, but my faith in the company is not the highest it's ever been. Oh, you've seen Anchorman? Yeah, nice. Okay. Sorry, my sister's girlfriend is yelling at one of their cats. Surely he's doing something rascally. But yeah, I want Borderlands 4 to be good. I also wanted Borderlands 3 to be good, and the gameplay was so good and the writing was so bad. Wow, apparently the cat is being a real problem. Yeah, I definitely... When's this supposed to come out? Borderlands September 12th. Okay, so soonish. Yeah, I definitely won't be playing that one day one, and probably not on stream. Though if I get someone who wants to run co-op with me, I might do that. But, I definitely am hoping that Borderlands 4 is good. Please be good. Resident Evil Requiem, I might actually, whenever that gets released, might do that day one. Because I'm a fan of survival horror games, obviously. Is there anything else that's coming out that I give a shit about? Dying Light the Beast. Is that a new game? Or is that thrilling standalone zombie adventure? Okay, cool. Oh, interesting. You play as the character from the first game. Alright, fair enough. I really liked the first Dying Light game. Not so much the second one, but the first one was really good. How's the podcast thing going? It turns out scheduling 3 adults who all work to be in the same room at the same time is really fucking hard. So currently we've still only got the one podcast recorded. I was trying to get people together this week, but one of us could not make it. So I'm hoping the following week will work. But Eh, it's going slowly in answer to your question. Also, Hell is Us is a game that's coming out soon, and it looks conceptually cool, but I've just seen a bunch of ads. I haven't seen a ton of like actual content about it. Third person action adventure game, intense melee combat with thrill of exploration. Okay. Do you know the problem with the term action adventure game is that it means nothing? Unique exploration system, combat against original creatures. Cool. I'm the central theme of Hell is Us is that human violence is a perpetual cycle fueled by human emotions and passions. Jonathan Jacques Bellette, creative director. I mean, that's very uh oh, what the fuck was his name? He's a French philosopher and playwright who said that hell is other people. Is it Jean-Jacques? Fuck. What was his last name? I can't recall off the top of my head. Jean-Paul Sartre. Jean-Paul Sartre, rather. Um, I got like halfway through typing in hell is other people and remembered. Did I take a look at Mortal Kombat Legends? No, I don't enjoy fighting games, generally speaking. B, I am so fucking bad at fighting games, generally speaking. The one exception is I will play uh, Super Smash Bros. Melee, the GameCube one, with literally anybody. But by and large, I do not check out fighting games. Oh, Mortal Kombat Legends. Oh, the movie. No, I still have not seen that. Sorry. I was just reading something about a new Mortal Kombat game that was like supposedly selling really well, but not as well as like Mortal Kombat 8 did. So no. In answer to your question, I have not seen the movie. I've been slightly busy this past week. And you weren't here at the beginning, but I was saying I worked today, I'm streaming tonight, I'm working tomorrow and streaming tomorrow night. So I'm gonna be a little tired. Here's hoping it doesn't get me killed in the trenches of Verdun tomorrow. Yeah, I was reading something in the gaming subreddit about there being like misinformation regarding how well the new Mortal Kombat is selling compared to older ones. And I basically stopped looking into it at that point because I don't care. I am, as someone who's not generally a Silent Hill fan, I am genuinely looking forward to Silent Hill F. I will be very interested to see how that one comes out. And that one's coming out late September. Ooh, would you look at that? It's time to ban a bot. Count created today? 21 hours ago. Banned. I'm always amused when the chatbot is like 5 years old. Because usually it's like a quick cycle, right? They spin it up and get you like spammed in a day. But every once in a while they get old accounts. But yeah, as someone who's not a huge Silent Hill fan, I'm very interested to check out Silent Hill F. I'm also really looking forward to Witcher 4, but there's not a ton of news about its release date. Because Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. Right. We have a YouTube link. Hold on. What if I Trying to... There we go.
People come to us.
Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, that's why. I'm like, I have YouTube Premium. I should not be getting ads. Scorpion fight scenes from Mortal Kombat Legends. Okay, if I watch this, I'm gonna watch the whole thing instead of just the Scorpion fight scenes. But I dig it. I will definitely check this out at some point. Show it on screen? Nah, I'm... For the sake of not having to deal with possible copyright issues with YouTube, I'm gonna not show it on screen. But I definitely am interested in checking it out. The animation looks very cool. And I'm always down to check out something new. But it's one of those things where, especially with music and any kind of like thing that I'm showing on screen, if it's owned by a major corporation, I am much twitchier about just showing it. It's one of those things that I'm aware that if I ever get that reaction channel with my friends up and running, is going to be a huge pain in the ass, because you need to like show it for the reaction, but the fight scenes are perfect. Okay, I will totally check it out at some point. I make no guarantees about checking it out by next stream, because as I said, I work today, working tomorrow, and streaming tomorrow night, so I'm hoping that between now and working tomorrow I get some sleep, but that's pretty much my only plan. I will see if I can check it out by Wednesday. It is my hope to have a little more time, but I'm also trying to apply to a couple of government agencies, and I've got my aunt who is with federal agency looking over my resume on tomorrow at some point. So I have no idea what I'm going to have to do after that, whether I need to adjust it or whether I need to go ahead and start the application process. But probably I have stuff to do, if I had to guess. And then, as I said, as I get towards mid to late September, I'm going to have to change up the streaming schedule altogether. College is about to start in a month. Hey, man, that's a good thing. You're going to college to study something that you like. Is it always easy? Fuck no. But you're going to do a thing that you're interested in. You do mechatronics, right? So like I get the crying faces, but A, wasn't there that girl you wanted to go back to college and hang out with? B, I mean, you're going for a thing that you want to do. So that was like, was I thrilled about all of my college work? No, but I was at least interested in what I was studying. Oh, good. They recently added War Thunder to Game Pass. For those who don't know, War Thunder is one of the largest sources of leaks of secret government documents. Not because there are spies, but because people want to prove each other wrong about historical vehicles. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Okay, if I search War Thunder leak, the first recommendation is War Thunder leak list. List of classified document leaks from War Thunder. Fucking Christ. Okay, there's a whole page on Steam. Honestly, you don't like it anymore because you found out you're not an engineering person. What I'll say is, if you've got a separate thing to shift to, that could be a good idea. Um, if you don't, it might be worth pushing through for. And the girl's no chance. I mean, look, man, it's no chance if you don't give it a chance. I'm not saying it'll work out. I'm saying it can't work out if you don't try it. That said, I've been rejected by both girls that I ever asked out in my 30 years of life, so probably romantic advice from me is not a great plan. One of those happened when I was 10, the other happened when I was 26, so. Okay, coffee's done. Time to switch to water. But it is hilarious to me how much, like, genuinely classified secret documents have been leaked on War Thunder forums just because people have access to them for their jobs and they want to win an argument with someone online. I could play Heretic or Hexen on stream, but I don't really do much with boomer shooters. I play them occasionally, but it's not high on my list. Depends on what it is, I suppose. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I do not play skating games, generally speaking. I did play SSX Tricky back on the GameCube. That's probably still in the other room. I probably still have that disc on hand. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything recently added that I am inclined to play. Though supposedly the Rogue Prince of Persia is pretty good. Documents of who the government? Yes. So the documents that have been leaked for on War Thunder forums are government documents that are like classified. If you click the link that I dropped in chat, you can see all of the different vehicles that have been leaked. So the Challenger 2 tank, the Leclerc tank, the Type 99 tank, the M2A2 Bradley, which I think is a tank. It might have a different classification, but I think it's a tank. The Eurocopter Tiger helicopter, the F-15E plane, the F-16 plane, the Shenyang J-8-B, the Eurofighter Typhoon, the F-117 Nighthawk, the AH-64 Apache helicopter, the AV-8B Harrier, miscellaneous, some kind of ammo leak. Yeah, it's a fucking lot of people who risked their fucking jobs and possibly going to prison to send secret documents. Basically what happened was people were on War Thunder forums arguing about how the tanks or planes performed in game and going, hey, it should perform better or have this weakness because this thing is happening. And people went, bullshit, how would you know that? And they posted secret government fucking documents to prove to some asshole they were arguing with on a War Thunder forum that they were right. And many of them lost their jobs and were put in prison for that. Like, and if it happened once, it would be a funny anomaly. It happened a lot and is like still happens on occasion. Watching people completely ruin their lives to win an argument online is really interesting to me. But maybe that's an anthropological question. Got to refresh? Okay. God, I may be up for 2.5 hours tonight, but I am not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to go. It would be my absolute pleasure to go 4 hours, but I am not sure I'm going to last that long. Oh, but yeah, War Thunder forums are one of those internet anomalies that I'm like, wild. That so many people chose to ruin their fucking lives to win an argument on War Thunder forums. Let's take a free game and argue about it so hard that people go to prison. Genuinely wild. Yeah, I'm feeling probably. Oh, you're good now? Awesome. I was just saying, I've probably got like a 2 hour to a 2.5 hour stream in midnight. Much as I like to go a little longer, between having work today and knowing that I got to be up early for work tomorrow, I am probably not going as long as I like to. But I'll push on long as I can. Uh, I was going somewhere with that train of thought, but I thought back to the War Thunder forums and I lost it completely. It's just the idea that you would risk prison time and your job and prison time to win an argument on the internet is incredible to me. Kind of argument could you ever start in War Thunder? Oh my god, it's vicious. It like the problem is, right? There are a bunch of real tanks and planes. That's the selling point to the kind of people who want to play a milsim game with those vehicles. And so the arguments generally go, my favorite, you know, tank, plane, whatever, should be stronger because it has this feature and that feature that aren't accounted for in the balancing of the game. To which someone inevitably responds, hey, prove it. I mean, how would you know that? And mo- most people in a position to know that and have access to the secret documents just get mad because they can't prove it legally and appear to lose that argument. Some people are fucking insane and have access to those documents and so choose to fucking prove it and go to prison over it by posting the secret documents. It's a hotbed of people who really want to. Are they hackers? No, no, no. These are people who work in military sites and have access to these documents for work. And so, like a hacker you might not catch, right? A hacker who could like sneak their way in, get the documents and post them. No, 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 no. These are people who work for the military, either in a civilian or a military position, who have access to these documents for work, that then make copies illegally of these documents And in order to win the argument about which vehicle is better or that the vehicles should be better in the game, post these documents online in a way that is generally not that hard to trace back to them. And so they lose their job and often face prison time. I mean, it's not generally like as high as like treason that'll get you killed in most places, but it's potentially years in federal prison to win an online argument. And I'm like, I don't fundamentally understand fucking yourself over that badly for so little reward. Like spies that are getting paid by other governments to turn on their country, like I get it, right? Like it's the money that's pulling you in. But when the best possible condition for your incredibly risky behavior is that you won an internet argument on a War Thunder forum, I don't understand. I wonder what their thought process is. Me too, man. Like, I don't get it. Like, you're in this privileged position. You have access to these documents because they have vetted you and considered that you are probably mentally sound enough. You don't have, like, debts. So, like, you can't be bought for this information. And I suspect a lot of these people couldn't be bought for this information. But apparently all they had to do to like get that information was somebody had to say that they were wrong on an internet forum. That was all someone had to do to find that information out. Uh and it is wild to me that there is a thought process that starts with this person on the internet is wrong and I can prove it, doesn't stop immediately with, but I might go to prison for it. I fundamentally lack an understanding of the kind of human thought process that does not immediately abort at potential for federal prison if I want to win this internet argument. Like, don't get me wrong, there are games I love. Um, I just risk versus reward, right? Like, it's an enormous risk for basically zero reward. I don't get it. Are their names out to the public? Want to see if their trials and recordings is available? Hold on. Let's see. Most definitive list of War Thunder leaked documents can be found on the War Thunder Wikipedia page. Holy shit. War Thunder Wikipedia page. Here we are. Let's see. Events history, early development, open beta, review bombing, military training tools, sensitive document leaks. There we are. Okay. So here's a more specific thing. But let me see if I can find any of the trials. The only problem is that they're like mostly military tribunals. Yeah, I can put this up, sure. The problem is that they're mostly like military tribunals. So a lot of this information is not out to the public even after the trials wrap up. But let me see if I can't find Uh, leaked documents. Let's see. Trials. Let's see. Recurring found. Yada, yada. Yes, that's all right. War Thunder's history of classified document leaks. Okay. Somebody made a video on the history of War Thunder leaks. Fuck it. I will watch that later.
War Thunder.
Jesus. Okay, I'm already annoyed by this person's voice. Never mind. I will not watch that later. Uh, This is from when? Continue reading. Where? There should actually be a date attached to this, and I don't see it. No, 9 months ago. Oh, this is the official War Thunder forums. 0 days since classified document leaks. As of... That was December of 2023. So, like... I'm having trouble finding trials, because again, these are largely military tribunals, so they're not publicly available in the same way. But oh my, yeah, wonder what their lawyers had to say. Imagine being a lawyer. How do you discuss that with a person where you're like, hi, I'm here to defend you, and they're like, cool, how do we get me out of this? And the lawyer goes, well, did you leak classified fucking documents? Because possibly you cop to that and hope that the judge shows mercy for your idiocy. Because there's not a good outcome. There's just a, like, least bad outcome. Like, telling the judge that you were drunk and made an idiot mistake is the best possible course of action. Because trying to pretend that you didn't do this is not probably going to work. Literally begging for mercy is probably the way to go here. Yeah, so I'm seeing from July of 2021 through June of 2025. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 separate times the classified documents were leaked on War Thunder forums. Oh my fucking god. Maybe storm out of the court running, like, maybe hope they don't catch you. Not likely, but at that point, it's clear that they're incredibly dumb, so it is the kind of thing that it wouldn't shock me if that person did. Like, clearly thinking through the potential consequences of their actions are not these people's thing. So, sure, sprint out of the court, why not? surely it'll go fine. I Yeah, it's one of those things where you just have to like smash your face into your desk as a lawyer, right? You're like, you have to defend this client. It's like, okay, you are so fucked, but we'll do our best to get you the minimum possible sentence. I don't even know how you would begin to prepare for that trial. My client was extremely dumb and expresses so much remorse for their actions and recognizes that there was no possible reason that would have been good enough to have done this. And like, what minimum sentence could that be? I don't know. Because it's happened in so many countries, the sentences vary wildly between the various criminal codes, particularly within the different militaries. So I couldn't tell you. And I would assume like these were all classified documents, so like, but I'm sure some of them were like technically classified documents that are old enough that it mostly doesn't matter, but some of them I'm sure were new enough that it was a big problem. So I don't know to what degree that would be taken into consideration. Yeah, there's got to be some like somebody that's like, okay, you're obviously you're fired, but also you're so dumb that we can't like in good conscience fling you into prison for a decade. Refreshing. Copy. All right. I'm gonna wait a moment for Nusrat to get back in. Oh, God, my back. Oh, I'm gonna just take a moment, drink some water while he's getting back in here. But yeah, War Thunder forums. Just the dumbest way to fuck your life up. I mean, I'm sure there's dumber, right? There was the guy who literally killed himself because his favorite joke was to jump at the windows in his like high-rise office up in Canada, Gary something or other. He thought it was a very funny joke, and risk versus reward again, like risk literally your life. Reward maybe somebody laughs. Ooh, damn. Apparently the internet in Baghdad is fighting back. Yeah, that honestly that would be a thing to maybe do for a Socratic Sunday. Let me put that in my own Socratic Sunday suggestions channel. World's Dumbest Criminals review. All right. World's Dumbest Criminals stories. I'm not looking for the American TV show. I am familiar with it, but it's definitely uh something that could take up. Honestly, it could be a whole series, but there's a lot that could be done with that. Okay. Wow. Apparently, Nosrata's having real problems getting back in. No problem. Yeah, I'm gonna try and push on to the 2.5 hour mark. But for now, I'm just gonna hop onto a Reader's Digest article about very dumb criminals. Fucking Christ. Police in Ossining, New York were called to a mini mart where they found Blake Leak, 23, trying to break in. They chased Leak through the streets until both cops took a tumble. Seizing the opportunity, Leak sought refuge on the grounds of a large building. The building was the Sing Sing maximum security prison where he was promptly nabbed by a guard. Rough. Uh, Scottish shoplifter Aaron Morrison was picked up after pinching a bottle of vodka from a liquor store. It didn't take Sherlock Holmes to find Morrison, though. His name and phone number were left with the clerk after asking her out on a date. These 19 serious court cases with hilarious names are guaranteed to make you laugh. Lowest high there is. For a trio of drug thieves, it was their lucky day. They broke into a home in Silver Springs, Florida, and discovered 3 jars of cocaine. I haven't finished reading this, but I'm going to assume sugar or salt. They took it home and snorted the contents. That's when they discovered they were in fact urns, and they were snorting the cremains of the victim's husband and 2 dogs. Never mind, that went a different direction than I thought. Holy shit. Bring your child to work day is a long-honored tradition that allows children to see what goes on in the business world while also getting the chance to watch their parents ply their trade. One crook brought his young son along with him on the job, which happened to be robbing a pet shop. He was caught soon after, minus something important. His son. Watch where you're going. Two men waited in line at the coffee shop to pay their bill. A third got in front of them. He threw a drink at the clerk and demanded all the money from the till. Temporarily surprised, the men quickly recovered and handcuffed the crook. Apparently, in his rush, the criminal didn't notice that they were police officers in full uniform. I'm telling you, situational awareness is not. Okay, for some reason your internet decided to flip you off. Maybe if you restart the router, I don't know. Okay. Disrot's apparently having serious internet problems. But I'm being amused by dumb criminals. Recently a woman in Fresno, California was stopped at a DUI checkpoint for being soused. Ever helpful, she offered up the info. My husband's right behind me, and he's even drunker than I am. Wow. Betrayal and DUI. When an attempted robbery at a Lowe's home improvement store went awry, Milton J. Hodges fled across the street and jumped a fence, right into the Cypress Cove nudist resort and spa. As the Orlando Sentinel pointed out, as one of the only folks wearing clothing, Hodges was easily spotted by police. The worst possible time to faint, in the middle of robbing a bank. But that's not what happened to a Beaver Creek, Ohio thief. The teller called 911 and asked for medics. But you have to applaud the man's stick-to-itiveness while the ambulance was en route. The suspect handed a note to the teller demanding all her cash. Oh, that is what happened. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Called 911, asked for medics, but you have to applaud the man's stick-to-itiveness while the ambulance was en route. Suspect handed a note to the teller demanding all her cash. What? Is this like a narcolepsy thing, or... nobody could see. Mitchell DeSalit walked into a Baton Rouge, Louisiana hotel and asked the clerk for a room. The clerk wasn't a clerk, he was a state trooper, and the hotel was actually a state trooper station. That's when DeSalit was arrested and charged with driving while intoxicated. Oh, yeah, I mean... IOU, Graham Price of South Wales ripped off the bank where he worked, but he wasn't completely duplicitous. He left a note in the safe. Borrowed £7 million, signed Graham Price. Okay, they probably they would have caught him anyway, right? Because, how many people have access? But wow. No one likes a tattler. Good Samaritan noticed an elderly man being robbed, so he jumped in and punched the thief. The thief was so upset, he called the police to complain. There's a remarkable number of those stories, like, somebody stole my cocaine, I'm gonna call the police and have them intervene. Not a great plan. Okay, it's better now, it's back? Nice, okay. I'm going over dumbest criminal stories, which I might make a regular thing. When Stephen Crane broke into the Ravelli Republic newsroom, he used the computers to watch porn and check Facebook. Then Crane doused the office with a fire extinguisher, took some candy, and left. It wasn't difficult to find him, however. The police just followed the trail of stolen M&Ms that led to his sister's place across the way. Brilliant. When police in Vancouver, Canada asked to search Jason Pochet's apartment for drugs, he was not a suspect. In fact, they were looking for someone else. That all changed when they got a look at how his name was listed on his cell phone. Jason Pochet, drug dealer. Not brilliant. Oh, okay. Nusrat. Put in chat. Call the police for a stolen cock, what the fuck? Oops, coke. Just so you know, the shortened version of cocaine, which I believe you were trying to write, is spelled coke, C-O-K-E. Just so you know. C-O-C-K, stolen cock, whole different thing. Let's see. Two men decided A back-to-school event at an office supply store would be the perfect time to do some shoplifting. After all, store clerks would be busy helping an influx of shoppers. The sale happened to coincide with the annual Shop with a Cop Day, when about 60 police officers show up to help children pick out school supplies. Uh, Adon Juarez Ramirez had it all figured out. He could be a cop without having to take the boring test, but he was arrested in Grapevine, Texas after pulling over a driver in his pickup truck outfitted with flashing lights. He even had an ID badge, which he'd made by blocking out a restaurant gift card and etching the word police. However, he'd kept the restaurant's logo, jalapeno pepper, surrounded by the words Chipotle Mexican Grill. Not brilliant. A Target store in Augusta, Georgia, agreed to take back a printer from a dissatisfied customer. Then the clerk noticed some work the customer forgot to remove from the machine. Counterfeit bills. Yep, Secret Service wants to talk to you. Two machete-wielding men barged into a Sydney, Australia bar demanding money. They didn't know the club was hosting a bikers meeting at the time. One of the robbers ended up in the hospital, the other hog-tied with electrical wire. In Mesa, Arizona, a home break-in was foiled when the burglar jumped through the bedroom window and got trapped in a clothes hamper. Cops took it from there. Joseph Gates' alleged attempt to rob a York, Pennsylvania bank met with some snags. Cops say the first teller he tried to rob fainted, and the next two had no more cash in their drawers. Fed up, Gates stormed out, threatening to write an angry letter to the bank. Brilliant. What site is this? Hold on, I'm just on Reader's Digest. I can send the link, but I was thinking like a Dumbest Criminals review on occasion might be a fun thing to do on Socratic Sunday. Because it's nice to have some topics in mind beforehand. A German bank robber sent mocking emails to local police, ridiculing their efforts to arrest him. First, he let them know they had his age, build, and accent wrong. Then he corrected their announcement that he'd escaped on foot. No, he had a getaway car. Cops got the last word in, though, when they arrested the guy a few hours later. They used his email to trace him. Yup. After a man kicked in the front door of a Texas home at 3:30 a.m. Bad idea, by the way. Everybody's got a fucking gun in Texas. You break in at night, you are asking to get shot. The resident fled and called police. When cops arrived, they were surprised to find the intruder hadn't stolen a thing. Police found the man in the bathroom enjoying a warm bath. Okay. Was he like a thief, or was he like a homeless dude who was looking for a bath? Because those are, two different intentions. Both a really bad idea to kick in a front door in Texas at 3 in the morning, but still. Bobby Rose lost his first place medal and was charged with a felony after it was discovered he'd cheated in a Texas fishing tournament by stuffing a 1-pound weight down the throat of a bass he'd caught. Officials became suspicious when they placed Rose's fish in a tank and it sank to the bottom. Yup. Because those weights are made of lead. Little bit denser than water. According to the bus driver, it was a brutal, unprovoked attack. A woman got on his bus and assaulted him with a half-eaten banana. I had banana all over me, he insisted, on my tie, my shirt, and my eye. The woman explained that the driver had almost hit her car, and that was when she entered the bus to rationally discuss the matter. Oh, and that when she entered the bus to rationally discuss the matter, the banana slipped right into his tie, his shirt, his eye. The court may not have believed that, but it did believe her when she argued that it was unreasonable that a banana could cause this much damage. They slapped her with a fine with only about $100. Police in Pico Rivera, California, had an easy time pinning a 4-year-old murder on Anthony Garcia. That's because he pinned it on himself with an elaborate tattoo on his chest depicting the killing. Cops noticed the incriminating ink when taking Garcia's mugshot for a petty crime. The tattoo revealed all the details of the night, from the Christmas lights and bent street lamp near the liquor store where the body was found to the image of an angry helicopter. Garcia's nickname was Chopper Machine Gunning the victim. Wild. James Ryan in Memphis was charged with forgery after he handed a waitress a $100 bill. The waitress knew something was funny with the money. Instead of the portly visage of Ben Franklin, it was the star of the $5 bill, Abe Lincoln, who was staring back at her. A woman in Somerset, Massachusetts was arrested for breaking and entering, but she was quickly caught thanks to her ankle bracelet, the one fitted with a GPS system that she had gotten from the police for being on probation from earlier breaking and entering. Yup. The victim's jewelry was missing, the electronics were gone, and a window was smashed. No wonder she was hysterical when Officer Charanjit Meharu of the Calgary police arrived. Then her French-speaking father called. Speaking in French, she explained that it was all a scam in order to get the insurance money. What she didn't suspect was that Officer Meharu speaks 6 languages, including French. Wild that you would just say it in any language, regardless of what you thought. Christopher Oxley of Everett, Washington was arrested for conducting a drug deal over the phone in the bathroom of the Everett Police Department. Insane. A 12-year-old boy adamantly denied having stolen an iPhone when questioned by police in his home. Then the iPhone rang in his closet. Okay, yes, he stole that, but as for the BlackBerry he was also accused of stealing, he double adamantly denied. And then it rang. Clive Halford thinks big. The British career criminal stole a truck and loaded it with 18 pallets of stolen nickel and copper worth around 150 pounds, or about $250,000. Yes, the haul was huge. Too huge. Cops arrested Halford after the truck's suspension collapsed under the weight. Earlier, Halford had stolen a car, overloaded it, and broken that suspension too. So, like, he's got solid plans. He just either overestimates his vehicles or underestimates exactly how heavy all the shit he wants is. Don't you hate it when you suffer a heart attack and think you're going to die, so you confess to a 17-year-old murder only to find out you're not going to die and then get sentenced to life in prison as a result? Yeah, so does James Washington of Nashville, because that happened to him. Collie Ruff of Middletown, Ohio was picked up for shoplifting from a Dollar General store with her 2 young children in tow. Among the booty was a book, 101 Ways to be a Great Mom. That one kind of hurts. Is there any news on carding? I'm not sure what you mean by carding. Following a dispute, Craig Aylesworth of Bithlo, Florida, allegedly tossed a Molotov cocktail at his neighbor's trailer home, just as the wind shifted, sending embers on his own trailer. Luckily, he was arrested since he no longer had a home of his own to return to. A San Francisco thief pedaled his bike up to a woman on the sidewalk, snatched the iPhone out of her hands, and rode away. Unknown to him, the woman was in the middle of demonstrating the iPhone's new GPS tracking device, which worked. Thief was captured minutes later. Anthony Kenneth, oh my god, Mastro Giovanni was impersonating a police officer when he pulled over another car for speeding. The driver quickly sussed out that Mastro Giovanni was fibbing since he too was a cop, but in his case, the kind of cop who doesn't have to pretend he's a cop because he's really a cop. Mastro Giovanni was arrested for impersonating a police officer. How convenient. Only a few months earlier, a man from Iowa City, Iowa had his driver's license stolen. Then who should show up at the bar where he worked as a bouncer but the thief brandishing the bouncer's very own license as a form of ID? I mean, that's not stupid. That's unlucky. I mean, like, stealing an ID and using it generally, like, not a smart thing, but that's specifically unlucky. Like, if it was stolen from that bar and then you came back and used it there, sure, that's specifically dumb. But, I mean, what are the odds? Is there no honor among thieves? While 2 suspects were being questioned by Ogden, Utah police about shoplifting from a store, someone broke into their car and stole a stereo and several other items. That's, again, not specifically dumb. That's just unlucky. An El Paso, Texas man busted into a church and absconded with the safe. Safes are heavy, so he only got a few yards before dropping it on a neighbor's lawn, where he tried to crack it open. That's when he was confronted by the home's occupant, a police officer. That one's dumb. Okay, that's probably enough for one stream, but dumb criminals are a thing to come back to. People who hack credit cards. It's possible to hack a credit card. It is theoretically possible, though hack in this context means a couple of things. By and large, it's the chip that can be quote unquote hacked, which is generally more a question of adjusting the contacts and information on it than anything else. But yes, the criminals who, I mean, that's generally just an extension of identity theft as far as like hacking a credit card. And by and large, you don't even bother hacking credit cards. You just try and duplicate them basically for the purpose of using them. I think you also have to do some work on the banking side. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know the specifics of that one. I've heard of it, but I don't know much as far as that goes. But like credit where it's due to the thieves who had the stereo stolen out of their car. Like that's just bad timing, right? Like you're in a bad neighborhood and you're not attending your car. And then the guy who stole the ID and then had it recognized by the bouncer, like, okay, unless you stole it from the guy at that bar and then came back, that's not specifically dumb. That's just unlucky. Now, the other question is, why are you identity thieving? Because if the answer is you're underage drinking, that's dumb. To steal a real license and attempt to use it for that purpose is dumb, because then you can be charged with both identity theft and stealing and attempting to drink underage. Whereas if you have a fake one made, like, you can also get in trouble for counterfeiting government documents. So like, by and large, it's easier to just wait to drink or like have people that are cool providing you alcohol early. Like, usually it's just not worth. And all of that too is like, you put all that, oh, they think they're untouchable. Yeah, you're not wrong. Some of it is definitely, especially with the underage drinkers, some of it is a genuine lack of developed brain. Like, your brain is still developing at that age, and so your ability, particularly within the frontal lobe, to consider consequences is more limited than it would be by, age 21 or 25. Like, you still developing over those years. So they think they're untouchable in the sense that they don't, it's not that they think it's impossible for them to face consequences. It's that they don't think through the potential consequences. Or they go like, or they think it won't happen to me, right? Like, here are the potential consequences of using a fake ID or a stolen ID. But what are the odds I get caught? Like, probably I'll be fine, right? And those people are the ones that overconfidence is generally what bites them in the ass. And the real pain, right, is like, you're either committing a theft, you're committing a crime in order to get these drinks, or you're committing a crime by falsifying an ID in order to get these drinks, and you still have to pay for the drinks, right? Like, drinks in bars are very expensive compared to like going into a liquor store, buying some and taking that home. Like, going out and drinking is extremely expensive. So you're doing all of this work, you are risking criminal charges, and you're still paying way too much for drinks. Like, granted, I'm not a guy who drinks much. I drink like a couple times a month, maybe. So maybe I just don't get it. I also, why is it so expensive? Liquor is one of the best turnaround items for bars and restaurants, in terms of what they pay for it versus what, uh, people pay them for it. Like it's a biggest profit margin item. It doesn't seem reasonable. Most of the time, it's not. Sometimes, if you're in like a dive bar and they'll do like a happy hour where they have cheaper drinks, it can be reasonable. But generally speaking, like granted, I also am not like a social drinker. I don't go out and drink with people, but I'll just like, if I decide I'm gonna read a book today for a while, I might pour myself a little whiskey or have like a hard cider or a beer. But again, that's like maybe twice a month. So I also don't, and I have like a drink, one, instead of like getting drunk, which is again very expensive. Especially for me, because I'm like highly resistant to basically everything. So one drink basically doesn't affect me. Um, I'm doing it for, a little flavor or whatever. Or I'll have like a double of whiskey, and that's my, like, that I can begin to feel a little bit. But I have never actually gotten drunk because I never really cared to, because I spent time as a first responder between the ages of 15 and 21, and I dealt with so many fucking drunk people that I didn't want to be one. I was like, these people are a pain in the ass. I really don't want to be this pain in the ass to somebody else. So my alcohol consumption has always been pretty limited. Now, granted, I also grew up in an environment where alcohol consumption was not taboo. Like, it wasn't a thing that was bad, but it also wasn't a thing that, like, either of my parents drank much. Like, my mother will drink socially. She'll, like, if she has friends over, she might have a little wine, or sangria or something. My dad had one day a year, because he was a teacher, had one day a year that he would drink to the point of drunkenness. And it was specifically because he was a teacher, so he would, like, on the last day of school or the day after, would go home, make a pitcher of margarita for himself, and just drink the whole thing while reading a book or whatever. Which, fair enough. If you've been a teacher all year, like, yeah, sure, have a good day. And he also never, like, made a point of doing that around either my sister or I, so. We were not in a household of people with substance abuse issues, which was nice, because I've definitely met people who grew up in houses with parents that had, like, chemical addictions. What did my dad teach? He taught both English and theater at a high school level for 30 some years, 32 years total, I think. He retired a few years back, but English and theater, which is part of why I came to love reading so young, and part of it was that he just didn't like children's books. So he was reading children's books to me as a kid, because that's what you do for a kid. Um, oh, your mother teaches English too? That's awesome. But he was reading kids' books to me, and he was like, he didn't tell me this, but he was like, I hate children's books. Like, I'm bored. I don't enjoy this. There's nothing mentally stimulating on my end about it. And so what he started doing was he would take adult fantasy novels and read them to me, and just sort of like edit on the fly. If there was anything that he deemed inappropriate, he would just go right past it. And so when I started reading, I had like had the experience of him reading those to me. And so when I started reading, I was interested in higher level material than most people just starting out reading. And so when I was in the fourth grade, so like 9 years old, they did a test in elementary school. They were like, "What's your reading level? Are you like at a are you behind? Are you at like a second grade level? Are you ahead? Are you up at sixth grade level?" And so they looked at me and they were like, "Why are you at a college reading level at 9 years old?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. Couldn't tell you." The real answer was my dad read higher level books to me, so I was interested in higher level books. But when I was 9, I didn't know, man. I knew I could read. I knew what I liked to read, but I do think it's a very funny story, but there's basically no way to tell it without sounding like an asshole. It's like, it's one of those things where it sounds like you're bragging, even if it's just like a funny thing that happened. Like, I'm not. I just happened to read a lot. I was that nerd at recess who was sitting around reading a book. I had a fifth grade teacher who would take my books away. And like, it's one of those things where you would watch the teacher go to each student and be like, "Hey, come on, read a book. It's reading time. You gotta spend the time to read a book." And she would come to me and be like, "You gotta stop reading." uh, and I was very frustrated at the time with her because I would go out to recess with my book and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna, read in between lessons." And she was like, "Nope, I'm taking the book away. You gotta go play." And I was very frustrated by it at the time. And I'm like, "But I want to read a book. I'm not causing trouble. I just want to read a book." And what I didn't realize is I was young and had ADHD. I was spazzing around in class because I hadn't gotten that energy out. And so she was going, "No, you can't read. You have to run around to get some of this energy out so that you're not a problem or disruptive in class and you can pay attention." So years on, I figured out like why she was doing it, but I was, well, yeah, it was because she wanted me to be able to like focus and learn in class. And I obviously had a ton of energy because I was like 10 and had ADHD. So if I could burn some of that energy in the half hour we were outside, she wanted that so that I could focus on the lessons instead of me to just read, whatever I'd pulled off the shelf that day. So I totally understood years later, but I was so frustrated at the time because I just wanted to read my book. No, I was the nerd that, like, in high school, I was suggesting books to my English teachers that they might like. And I remember I loaned one of my teachers a copy of Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss shortly after it came out in, I think, 2011, maybe 2012. But she really liked it. And she accidentally left it at home. She was getting into it, and she liked it enough that she just bought a copy on her e-reader. She was like, "Here's your book back. I'm gonna finish it on this." I was like, "Okay, glad I picked the right one." Yeah, I was very much the kid who was way ahead at reading at every level that I experienced in English class, and like just barely on par in all of my math classes. I did pretty well up to like eighth grade on math, and then high school and high school math and I did not get along. Got along with all my teachers; they were great. Wasn't their fault that I fucking hated what they were teaching me. That was the thing that I realized fairly young is like, if you want to have people be like fairly flexible with the rules for you, all you have to do is generally follow the rules. And then because you're trusted by the teachers, whenever they needed you to like, they needed like a note delivered to another class, or they needed you to go grab, needed someone to go grab something from the office, They would be like, "Oh yeah, you're not a troublemaker. Go do that." And so simply by generally following the rules, I would get away with like basically whatever that I needed to do because I wasn't breaking the rules regularly. So when I did occasionally need to bend or break rules, I had teachers that knew I had a history of not doing that, so they were generally pretty relaxed about it. Whereas I saw a lot of kids get in trouble for the same shit I was doing because they were often making, trouble or breaking rules. And I realized it wasn't because I wanted to be a good rule follower. It was a purely pragmatic decision because I was like, my life's going to be easier if I just generally follow the rules and then only break them sometimes. And you get away with a lot more doing that. Yeah, it was. I don't miss high school as such because like there was a lot that was tough, especially kid with ADHD, all that. But there are definitely aspects that I miss from that environment and some of the teachers. But it's been fucking 12 years since I graduated, so you do that at your age, yeah. Oh, I still do it, right? Like it's how I live my life. Is like I don't commit crimes generally. I don't cause trouble. I do whatever I need to do, be that work or do all ADHD people hate rules. So no. In fact, especially because ADHD and autism kind of overlap to some degree, there are a lot of people who really, really like rules that have ADHD. But it's not about hating the rules. It's about knowing that if you're going to need to break rules in the future, it's better to have a long record of following them so that it's not another mark against you. It's we can let this slide. Um, it's not a thing where I think we hate rules. I think it's that ADHD specifically runs into some rule breaking, not because we object to the rules, but because we are more inclined to like click a pen or tap our feet or make noise, uh, not out of malice or wishing to break the rules, but because the hyperactivity, causes us to run into some trouble with that. Now, back in high school, I figured out to avoid like clicking a pen and be able to focus in class, if I chewed gum, I was okay because that occupied the part of my brain that wanted to move. As I got out of high school, I figured out that music did the same thing. I just wasn't allowed to listen to music in high school. And so uh I would listen to music doing my homework at home and get it done much more easily with that in the background so that I wasn't, shifting around trying to focus. I could just focus with the music and go from there. And like I figured out like I can do orchestral music. I just can't do any kind of vocal music. Anything lyrical causes me problems if I'm trying to like read or do a test or whatever. But orchestral stuff I can just blast in the background and it makes my life so much easier. And those mixed with caffeine were basically what got me through high school. College was easier because I could generally have some music going anytime that I wasn't actively in class. Because nobody cared if you had headphones in on a college campus. It was against the rules when I was in high school, but like, no, everybody's a fucking adult at college, so nobody bothered. But yeah, it's one of those things where a lot of people with ADHD are actually very fond of rules, but because of the way our brains work, we will often unintentionally be disruptive. Um, and like, don't get me wrong, there is some crossover of people who have ADHD and want to be disruptive, but by and large, still don't know how music affects ADHDers psychologically. I mean, psychologically, I can't speak to why it works. All I know is that if I am if I have that urge to like tap something or fiddle with something or I mean even mess around with something. Like the same people who had, fidget spinners and fidget cubes just to have something to move, uh the same part of my brain is easily occupied with music or chewing gum. So I don't know why those both work in lieu of messing with stuff, but for some reason they help me a whole lot. And so I don't question it, I just use it. Now I do have a friend who is going into a like master's in psychology that I could ask that question to. Who hopefully will be one of the people doing the React channel with me at some point. But we are again hammering out schedule issues. So who knows when and if that will all come together. They have made a PNG tuber for it, but currently we do not have a date set for the next podcast because I sent a text a couple days ago and was like, hey, how does this week look? And only one of them responded and was like, hey, sorry, I have no availability this week. I'm like, cool, cool, cool. Yes, we'll figure something out next week, I hope. The problem is, like, if we all worked at the same place, I'm sure we could line our schedules up much more easily, but we all work at different places with weird hours, so I don't know. Would like to listen to him. Oh, I mean, me too. That's part of why I want that podcast to come together, because we have me, who's a generalist. I know a whole lot about, or a little bit about a whole lot. Um, I have a talent for rote memorization, so I know a bunch of stuff. Particularly focused in history, anthropology, that kind of thing. We have my friend Jay, who hops on here occasionally, and he is going into a long career with, like, is an English major, potentially looking to do legal stuff. So lots of background in literature and media. And then our other friend Casper, who is a psych major. And so when we go through media, we all have kind of different takes on it from different perspectives, which is why I would love to get that podcast off the ground because I think it would be very interesting. And I know it would be very interesting because the only reason we're doing it is because for years we've had a psychology. Yeah, sorry. Psych is what it's often shortened to, PSYCH. But we've been watching, movies and TV that the others liked, and we're introducing each other to them, and we always have really good discussions afterwards. So that was the impetus for me to go, hey, is there a reason we're not recording this? And so we are waiting on one VTuber model to be done to actually do the like reactions live. But other than that, we're still trying to get the podcast off the ground as much as we can. But of course, we need to line up schedules enough that that's feasible. And the English and literature major is still in school. So two of us have graduated, the other is still in school. So scheduling around school and work is fun. But that said, I really do look forward to getting back into it with them because it's always interesting. Might be easier if I did it with whomever is available. Well, the goal is to get all three of us. So the idea is to have all three of us in every episode of the reaction and the podcast, which is why it's going to be a little tougher to get done. Not impossible that we could do two if we like going forward wanted to go that way, but the goal, like, we have a really good mix between the three of us. So for now, at least, I'd like to make it all three. It's entirely possible that in the future we'll do like sets of two, either both of them, one of me, kind of thing. That said, I am hitting the point where I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss this evening? I guess this morning for you. God, what time is it for you right now? Hold on. I can answer this question. God, it's 3:30 in the morning for you. You should probably go to bed. Don't want to drag it on for too long. Well, I appreciate it. If you've got any thoughts, I'm more than happy to take on a few a little bit longer. Um, but I'm definitely gonna wrap up soon if you don't have much. Oh, you're not sleepy? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I have a sister who is often has that problem. Like it's time to sleep. She's just not tired. Yeah, you do? Okay, what's up? You've been hunting down a book. Oh, you were talking about this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The I don't remember what the specific book was, but it was you were looking for some kind of like mystical something or other. Book of Demons, I think you were talking about. Looking for a Book of Demons because of this one. Not available for free. What's it called? Star Ancestors. Okay. Extraterrestrial Contact in the Native American Tradition by Rebecca Campbell. Wow. Okay. This is gonna fuck with my algorithm for a while, I suspect. I'm seeing it for $12 in paperback, but that would be to me, so. By Nancy Red Star. Is that. Oh, I'm. Hold on. Nancy Red Star. Okay, yep. I'm seeing it. I have no idea what reviews of this product will look like. Why is this on GM Binder? I found a PDF of it, but it's on GM Binder, which is usually a place that I go for D&D. I found it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's usually a place I go for D&D stuff, not UFO stuff. Granted, I don't go anywhere for UFO stuff, so maybe that's on me. Oh, is my fucking internet giving me problems? Please say no. Or is this a GM Binder problem? Because that's fine. Okay, it's a GM Binder problem. Do, 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 do. Hold on. I found a place that you can theoretically read it for free, but I'm pretty sure it's visited all the libraries there and you couldn't find it. Yeah. Huh, huh, huh. I found a place that you can theoretically download it, but it appears to be a site that will give you all of the viruses. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna skip that one. Yeah, I'm seeing it for $20 in a couple of places. I'm seeing it for $12 in one place. I am unfortunately not finding it available for free online. Because often you can go looking and find like a PDF download for free of some books, but yeah, nope. That's definitely another site with all the viruses. I am, let's see, Google Books. It's got bibliographic information, but not a download. Nancy Red Star official publisher page. That's not necessarily what we're looking for. Yeah, I'm having trouble finding it. Yeah, I'm finding it between $12 and $20 US. Huh. Bookfinder. Huh. Find this book. Uh-huh. Okay, I have no idea what shipping looks like to your area. And I have no idea if you're willing to shell out any money at all for this. But I'm seeing it as low as like 650 here. Under used books on bookfinder.com. Sorry for the huge link. Let's see. Star Ancestors film? The documentary series? I'm assuming this is unrelated, but I could be wrong. Oh, it's a film by Nancy Red Star. Huh. Featured documentary. Star Ancestors film. Okay. Is that available to watch? Oh, there's a film preview here anyway. Apparently, she made a documentary about it. Shipping's gonna be expensive to your area, not worth it. Yeah, I kind of figured, but there is the trailer for the film. And here, actually, I'll send the link to just the main page on that one, too. Oh, same link, apparently. Whatever. Okay. I'm sorry, the author was on an episode of Ancient Aliens on the History... 5 episodes of Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. Apparently. Uh-huh. Simon & Schuster, Australia. Legends of the Star Ancestors, Stories of Extraterrestrial Contact from Wisdom Keepers Around the World by Nancy Red Star. Okay, so that's apparently a different book. I would note that the author has been disavowed by the Red Lake Nation that she claims to be a part of. Ostensibly Cherokee, but questionable. I'm not saying that should, does it say why? Because she's apparently, like, one, hold on. I had it here. She's 128th Algonquian. So, not Cherokee, as she claims to be. And she had a fifth great grandparent that may have been indigenous. So not particularly Native American. Uh, yeah, fascinating. That is all the information I have. To be fair, I do not have a strong source on that one. I'm seeing claims of that. And in looking for controversy regarding Nancy Red Star, I'm not seeing a ton here, but I think she's probably also like a small enough figure that probably uh it's just not super publicized, even if it's the case. But that I can't speak to. I just did my best to find the book. Interested in the book? I'm really not. I know that you dig UFOs. It is not my thing. The idea is interesting, but the people who espouse the idea are like specifically this woman was on Ancient Aliens, a show that I have been making fun of for 15 years because they added it to the History Channel, and despite it having no scientific basis or actual history on the show, they kept it on there. And so, like, that to me was when the History Channel went to shit in the US. I don't know about other places, but yeah, Ancient Aliens is it's not a good source of basically any information. Take a look at it, sure. It's, I mean, if you can find episodes of Ancient Aliens, you'll either find them very funny or very interesting. Um, As a UFO fan, you may genuinely find them entertaining. Uh, Not my thing. the Let me see if I can find a picture of the guy who is like a meme specifically from Ancient Aliens. I feel fairly confident you've seen this person somewhere. I don't remember his name, but shit. I'm just looking for the picture. I don't need a bunch to go with it. Okay, that's fine. Uh this is a meme generator, but this is the picture. Have I ever seen anything in the sky? I mean, planes exist, so yeah. But usually I mean, I've seen satellites. I was out in South Dakota and I saw a bunch of satellites fly over. Saw some shooting stars. That was fun. It's honestly the most stars I've ever seen in the sky out in South Dakota. Fucking gorgeous. Yeah, yeah, that guy. That was the host of the show Ancient Aliens, which evidently Nancy Red Star was on 5 episodes of. Can't open the link, you're on your phone. Shit. Hold on. Let me hold on. I'll copy the image into the Discord. I'm just gonna put it in the general chat. All right, it's in the Discord general chat. Whenever you want to look. No, that's fine. You don't have to look now, but that's why I put it in the Discord so you can look whenever. Shared on screen. Okay, yeah, fair. I could do that. I have been sitting here discussing it and not actually putting it on the screen. That's a good point. Uh, This guy. So yeah, that dude. Oh, you've seen him? Yeah, I like I said, I guarantee you've seen an image of this guy as a meme. Like that screenshot's been floating around for God so long. Hang on, I bet I can find a know your meme on this dude. My guess is 15 years. I'm wrong. It was 14 years ago. Am I saying the show is just as silly? Oh, am I saying the book is just as silly as the show? I mean, not necessarily. I haven't read the book. I don't know. Um, I will say that while you shouldn't always judge someone by the company they keep, the fact that Nancy Red Star was on Ancient Aliens does make me kind of side-eye it. Simply because I don't think that anything related to Ancient Aliens should ever be taken seriously. ADHD, yeah, no worries, man. Okay, unless you have anything else real quick, I am gonna wrap up here. Uh, had a good time chatting with you tonight. I will be back with Conscript tomorrow. Though I may be a little later than my usual stream start because I'm working till 5 and then it's like 15 minutes home. So getting started by 5:30 may be a little iffy. But I should be on close to my usual time. I will be continuing in Conscript and hopefully figuring out where the dynamite is because that's the thing I'm missing right now. I looked up a guide after the last time I played, and I'm like missing one piece of a puzzle to continue forward. But looking forward to it. I definitely enjoyed Conscript so far, and I suspect that I will be playing it. You'll be waiting like the whole time. You're just gonna wait until 5:30 tomorrow my time. You're just gonna be awake the whole time. That seems excessive, but I appreciate it. All right. Thank you again for hanging out, Disrat. I will be back like maybe study a little bit. Yeah, like you might have something to do with your time, I'm sure. All right. Thanks for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow. Thank you to anybody who lurked in the stream. Thank you to anybody watching the VOD in the future. Have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are. Stay safe, and goodbye.